Hey guys, welcome to the vlog. Happy June. It's not June 1st, it's whatever day it was on the bottom of your screen. But I am going to tell you about my weekly TBR. So the first thing that I'm reading when I start my day is a short story collection, and that is the Best American Short Stories, edited by Ann Patchett, and this is the 2006 version. I got this in a free little library, so a free book. Awesome. I read one by Donna Tartt today, and I know we love Donna Tartt around here, BookTube, and I've read all of her novels and have enjoyed the majority of them. The Secret History is the one that was my least favorite, and The Goldfinch was my favorite. But so yeah, I read one of her stories today and it made me laugh out loud, which was pretty fun. And then my book that I am reading, because I don't have a strict TBR in summer, like yes, I make one, but it's like, it would be nice if I get to these, but it's not that big of a deal if I don't. There's no penalties towards me or anything like that. So the book that I'm reading right now is a 5-star prediction for me, and that is A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. This is the prequel to The Priory of the Orange Tree, but you can read them separately. They read as standalones. So this is an intricate and epic A Day of Falling Night sweeps readers back to the world of The Priory of the Orange Tree, showing us a course of events that shaped it for generations to come. Okay, that tells y'all nothing. We have 3 characters though. We have, I didn't realize Tenuva is the main character in that perspective. So we have East, West, and South. So Tenuva is in the South. She's a sister of the Priory, and she's been training for 50 years to slay worms, which are like dragons without wings. Like that's one from the cover. And then the younger generation there at the Priory is starting to question things, so she's having to, like, you know, explain things to them. And then we have our characters in the north. We have Queen Sabrin, and she is married to a king from another country, and therefore they have a daughter, and their daughter is trailing in the shadows exactly where she wants to be. She doesn't want to be a queen, she doesn't want to have kids, but that is her destiny when you're born into this society. And then lastly, we have our characters in the east. I totally pointed north, east is that way. So we have our characters in the east who they work at a temple. I don't know what you would actually call them, but the nameless one is this big dragon, but in the east I don't think they refer to him as that. So he has slept for centuries, and they are basically just taking care of the dragons, and they're trying to wake the gods, who the dragons are the gods, from their long slumber. So that's that one. And then where did I put? Okay, there's that. Then my mood read is The Spy and the Traitor by Ben McIntyre. This is about a guy named Oleg Gordovisky, who is a KGB agent. This is nonfiction, and he gets turned to work for MI6, and he's working for KGB and MI6. And he basically stops a lot of huge events that could have altered history and all of that in the Cold War. And then my ebook is An Echo in the Bone by Diana Gabaldon. This is the 7th book in the Outlander series. This is set during the American Revolution with hints of time travel. So that's my TBR for the week. Here's my outfit of the day. It's so Americana, right? So my top is from Target, and then my shorts are Abercrombie, and my hair, I crimped it today and did the curlers for my bangs. So I think I look kind of cute today, all Americana vibes. So I am about to go get my second lunch of the day. Y'all know I eat more than 3 meals a day. So I'm going to go do that. It's looking kind of cloudy. I don't know if it's gonna rain or not, but I kind of hope it does. It hasn't rained in a while, and I really like rain. So yeah, I'm rambling now. I will see y'all later. Tuesday. I am now almost a third of the way into the book. I'm at 31%, and I'm talking about A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. So I do want to give you all my thoughts now that I'm this far into it. I am going to put the book down because it's quite a heavy book. So we're just going to go through Call Pal. So characters, I do generally like the characters, but I would give them a 3. They are honestly not that developed. I know I'm only 31% into the book, but they just feel pretty flat to me. And I think the more interesting characters are like the parents of these characters, mainly the mothers. I find them to be really like gripping characters, except Eshbar, I don't like her. I think she's a bit of a not nice person. Yeah, I don't like her. I think she's a bit of a one-note villain. So I don't know. And then the atmosphere, I do love this world, and I love the mythology in this world. I think it's really interesting. So writing is, and so that gets a 4. The writing gets a 4 as well. It's pretty good, and there's some bits. I don't think I annotated the first book because they're companion novels. The writing is good, but the plot, I feel like I've read this before. Honestly, is just like Priory of the Orange Tree. Even if this is set 500 years before that, it literally is exactly the same thing, and therefore I'm bored, and it's bad if it's boring. If it's a book that is 700 pages, I just feel like I've been here before. I think this book is unnecessary because it's exactly the same thing happening. I think it would be really interesting to do the start of this world and how all these religions formed, and they're still talking about things that they talked about in the first book of why things are the way that they are. I'm like, why didn't you just do a prequel that takes place when all these religions and whatnot were forming? And I think this is really like our main religions in the real world. There are, you know, the 3 big religions, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, and how they are all linked to Abraham, and you're all like following the same God essentially. But you have different names for it, for him. I know, like, God doesn't really have a gender. It's okay, we're not getting into that. So it's the same thing in this book, is they're all following something very similar that has these same events that are all, there is this one figure who is in all of the religions. So I think that's a really interesting concept. I don't know if I necessarily picked up on that when I read the first book. Y'all have to go back and find that blog somewhere and see if I did feel that way. So I'm doing a side bookmark here. That's where I'm at. So this one is given 3-star vibes, not really living up to the first book, which was the best standalone fantasy I've ever read. So I'm going to go eat some leftovers from Outback. I went to Outback for lunch, and it was really good because Outback did have a time kind of during COVID where they were slacking. Their food wasn't that great, and yeah, so it's now a little past 9:30, and I have gotten over a quarter of the way into The Spy and the Traitor by Ben McIntyre. I am at 27% in this one, so this is nonfiction, as I said in the intro of the video, and I am really enjoying it. It is very dense though, so I would recommend doing the audiobook, which, yeah, I don't know why I'm not doing the audiobook. I should be doing the audiobook, so when I reread this book one day, I will do the audiobook. So this is extremely fascinating, following this man who is a KGB agent and betrays his nation to join or help. I don't know exactly what the right terms would. MI6, which is the British intelligence agency. I don't know what word I'm going to say. I am sorry. I am all brain fog right now. I don't know what's up with that, but it's extremely fascinating, really intriguing, because I'm like, if you do all that, you're probably dead. I don't know if this man is alive or not. I mean, he would be kind of old now, but like he would be younger than my grandparents, so I mean there's a chance he could be alive. But if you were dealing with KGB, MI6, CIA, and then all the Scandinavian ones, you're probably dead. So I'm just really intrigued to see where this goes, and I am just learning so much about the Cold War and the Soviet Union and MI6. I didn't even know how to say that last week. So I am learning a lot, and that's always my goal, but it is very dense, so it's a lot to take in. It takes me a little while. It takes me like, yeah, it takes me about double the time it usually would to read this amount of pages, which is fine because I am taking in a lot of information. So again, I would really suggest doing the audiobook. I mean, I have no idea if the narrator is good or anything, but I would go the audiobook route. And I am taking notes on my phone while I'm reading this, which I also think if you're reading a really dense nonfiction, taking notes along the way is always a good way to go. that's just something I've found with my reading experiences. So I am very much enjoying The Spy, and the trailer I would say it is in the like 4-star category. And that's my update. I am going to take a bath and I will begin an Outlander, but I don't think I'm going to read the whole chapter today because I saw that it should take me 52 minutes on the ebook, and I honestly don't want to give it that amount of time. So I'm just going to see where I get to. Probably about half of that, a quarter, half of that. That's just what I feel like I can do because I've read over 100 and something pages today, so I don't really feel like reading that much more because I am reading fantasy and nonfiction, so that can be just a lot to take in. I think fantasy and nonfiction, in my opinion, are the hardest genres to read. Fantasy because I think sci-fi can go with that as well, but fantasy, you're having to build a world and build a magic system, build a mythology, build, and not in this instant, but some new races like of different, like, you know, elves and goblins and all that kind of thing. In this one there are creatures that don't exist in our world, so you're having to build a lot, and you are building like a glossary of words. You're having to come up with names that don't exist in our world, so you're taking in all of that. And luckily this is in a series that I've read from before, so I already have a bit of an understanding, so it's not too difficult. I'm not saying that book is actually very accessible for fantasy, so that's good. And then with nonfiction, you're just taking in a lot of information at once, and this is about a subject that I don't really know a ton about, so I am taking in a lot of info. So yes, I am reading a lot, and sometimes you just want to take a break, and it's a-okay. So I'm going to go get my bath now and do my nighttime routine. Wednesday, I almost forgot to show you all the books that I got today because I went to Target and I got my book of the month on package day. So at Target, I got Just Another Missing Person by Julian McAllister. This is a thriller about a girl who goes into like an dead-end alley and is never seen again. And I'm like, how does that work? Then at Book of the Month, I got hold on. So I can like tell y'all. Okay, no, that's not gonna work. Oh my gosh, how many things do I have to stack y'all on for you to be able to see my face? Okay, so this one, it says there's a man out there, his weapon isn't a gun or a knife, it's a secret, is the tagline for the Target book. And then Book of the Month, I got, no, get out, I'm filming right here, is Real Americans by Rachel Kwong, and this is an exhilarating novel of American identity that spans 3 generations in one family and asks what makes us who we are and how inevitable are our futures. Then I got Legendborn. I didn't realize the author of Legendborn, Tracy Deonn, is from Central North Carolina. I did not know that. So this one, let's see, is there like a good just like 1 paragraph description? I guess I'll just read the quote on the back. When the shadows rise, so will the light. When blood is shed, blood will call. By the king's table, for the order's might, by our eternal oaths, the line is law. This is young adult, but y'all know I have been kind of in a fantasy mood lately, even though I'm not loving the fantasy book I'm reading right now. But I have heard great things about this book on like TikTok and YouTube, so I want to give it a go. And then the Comeback by Ella Berman is one that I picked up, and these are the new Book of the Month bookmarks. They're long and skinny now, so that's interesting. So the Comeback is a deep dive into the psyche of a young actress raised in the spotlight under the influence of a charming manipulative film director, and the moment when she decides his time is up. And then 2 more books here. I got The Return of Ellie Black. This is another thriller. A missing girl returns, but that isn't the end of the story. It's only the beginning. And then I got Honey, which this book was so shiny because I was outside when I opened it. I was just like, oh my gosh. And this is my actual book of the month. So they don't have a barcode on there, which is kind of annoying for when I put these books in Storygraph and all, because I will have to physically open up the book, find the IBSN number. Like, that's just a lot more work. So this is an addictive coming-of-age story that follows the meteoric, it's like meteor, but I see, rise of pop star Amber Young as she navigates fame and self-discovery in the late 90s and early 2000s. So I hope it's all very nostalgic. So those are the books I got. It's almost time to read again. It's 5:45 and I'll update y'all sometime later. I just got home, so I wanted to show y'all what package I got today, because this is a book, you might have seen a little bit of it, that I've been wanting to read for like a month now. Well, it's always been on my radar because I think this author's books, like all his books, maybe not all, because I get some of these confused, but all the ones that are about places intrigue me. And I read the first chapter. I don't know if chapter, I read the first little section, or maybe not. I don't think I read the whole thing, because like you can try out samples of books. So I read, I think, like the first 7 pages. Usually before I buy a book, I just read like the first page to see the writing style and see if that's the writing style, because you know, I've had so many books this year where I think they're too much for a page. Like if there's the paragraphs as long as a page, you know, I don't mess with that. I don't like that. So now I am more careful about what I'm buying and look at the reading samples that they have on like Amazon or whatever website to see if that is a writing style that I would like to read. Sorry that my hair is kind of crazy. I did brush it, but since I've been out, humidity is like but so I went on and read like 7 pages and I was like, oh my gosh, I want this so bad. So I was like, I have seen this author's books at Barnes & Noble before. So on my Barnes & Noble trip last weekend, or this past weekend, I looked and they did not have this book by the author. So I bought it on Amazon, and that is Rushka, I guess is how you say it, by Edward Rutherford. And this is, it says the novel of Russia, but this is spanning 1800 years. So from literally like 100 AD to the fall of the Soviet Union. That is amazing. And of course there is a family tree right there. Love a good family tree. No, I think there's probably we're missing generations, and that's what the ... is for. That's usually when you see ... either means marriage or it's skipping, or maybe not marriage, but you have a kid with somebody. And then I think it's going to be skipping generations, because I don't think this could cover 1800 years. I don't think so. And then we do have a map of the Russian heartland. That's not a great map. I don't like the topography part of it. Yeah, I just realized Finland and Sweden are on it, but I don't like the way the trees and mountains are. And then, okay, I'm looking at the, like, see, the Caucasus right there. I didn't even pick up that that's the Black Sea. So, not a huge fan of that map. But, yes, I read the preface, and then I read, like, the first 7 pages that are set on the forest and steppe in 8180, and I was like, I need that, because that's exactly what I want to read, because y'all know I've been into Russian history lately, so I want to read about it. And this is so floppy, because I have another one of his books, so I knew it was like this floppy kind of paperback rather than a mass market, so I was comfortable buying the paperback, and I'm glad that it was like the same as the others, because there was an option to buy the hardback on Amazon, because this was published back in the 90s. So I was like, I'm going with the cheaper option. I hope it's a floppy one and not a mass market. So yes, I know, a 3-minute clip all about this book, because I have just been wanting to buy it for so long, but Barnes & Noble didn't have it. So that was, I don't remember how much I spent on it actually. Yeah, I don't remember. I already put in my reading journal though, but I am so sleepy today. Luckily I got some caffeine while I was out, so hopefully that perks me up a little bit, because I slept for like 10 minutes earlier and I was like, gotta read, and woke up and read like 50 pages. So I'll be reading later. And then ending the vlog. Oh my gosh, one of my feathers fell off the shoulder. No, 2 of them did. But I think it's my cat contacting me from the dead. But these are seagull feathers. Anytime I see feathers when I travel, I pick them up. I'm gonna get the bird flu or something. I mean, knock on wood that I don't, but yes, feathers. Guys, it is so hot. It rained, thunderstorm, and all of that, and it's still in the 90s. Like, what? But I got to over the halfway point in a day of fallen night, so I don't have a ton of new thoughts, because as I said before, this is just a very average read. So for characters, I was trying to think, do I have a favorite character here? Who do I think is the strongest character? And no, I don't really have a favorite character. I like Wolf, which there was a very similar character in Priory who I liked, but his name was like Loth or something like that. He's been, I would say he's my favorite character, but on the audiobook, when you listen, the narrator has a Scottish accent, and listening to that at like 2.7 speed, I originally had it at 2.75, and then I was just like, no, I can't understand that man, and I had to do it down to 2.7. I usually don't listen to audiobooks that fast, by the way, but for a book that is this thick and this average, I just want to get through it. And I am understanding everything and all of that. If this was a fantasy book I had never read before, I probably wouldn't listen that fast, because I would still be having to know the world and like take in info. But so for the characters, I think, and for our plot lines, I think our Western plot line has been the most predictable and has been very predictable. And then the Eastern one, it's like a steady plot line. There's been some things I've predicted, some things I haven't. And for a minute I was like, I think that's our strongest plot line, but Dumai, who is our character, Dumai, I know I said it kind of French, but her character, I think, she's the one where I think this is a flat, these characters are flat, just because how she has accepted this main plot point in her life. Like why did she not question any of this really, and was this completely a-okay with this, and is just okay in the situation? I don't think that's realistic, and I feel weird saying realistic when it's a fantasy novel. And then our Southern plot line is the one I think that might be the strongest one. No, it does have my least favorite character, Asbar, in that plot line, because I think she's just, I understand what she's doing. I just think there needs to be more depth to her character overall. So I would say the Southern plotline is the strongest one. And then the atmosphere, I don't remember if I said this when I gave you all the update when I was 25% into the book. I don't understand how basically nothing in this world has changed in 500 years. And this is only with Star Wars too. I'm like, how is it so similar? Even though it's set so many years apart. I don't understand. Once again, I don't understand. Yeah, writing is good. I don't have any complaints on that. And then plot, I feel like we pretty much discussed the plot. So those are my thoughts on A Day of Fallen Night. I'm sure that I will still be reading this in next week's vlog. At least I think I will be, because I do have like 200 to 300 pages left. I don't remember how long this book is. I'm a little over 500 pages in. So that's all that I've read. And this is what I need to read. And some of that's the glossary and all of that kind of stuff. The list of characters. We love when books do that. A timeline. Which I do love when fantasy can add all that. And like when I was putting this back on, I love like the glossiness, I guess. Like I love just the way that looks. Literally just like that part. I don't know why. I just love the way that cover looks. So those are all of my thoughts on A Day of Fallen Night for this vlog. I'll see y'all. I'm going to be ending the vlog here. I know this one was a bit of a short one, but that's the thing with summer. We're being really relaxed. We're not being strict about reading. I mean me. I'm not being strict about my reading. I'm not trying to hit a certain page number per day, but if I hit 200, I might buy myself something on eBay. So the vlogs I don't think are going to be that long, because back a week I was finishing like 4 books in a week, because I was being like, I have to read this many pages a day, this many chapters a day. But we're not doing that in June or July or August. We're just being relaxed. We're having a good time getting to books that I've been meaning to get to for a while. So it's fun. It's a fun change of pace. I like to do things differently every now and then. And I think summer should be special, because I always talk about summer and childhood. The Little Friend by Donna Tartt is right over there. Actually, it might not be. I don't know where that book's at. But that book is like childhood summer. And that, even though that book takes place in like the 60s or 70s, is very nostalgic just for those summers as a child, and a lot of the short stories that I've been reading about are like that. So I think we should do something to make summer special, so not being strict with ourselves, just being carefree, and I think that can really do that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you made it all the way through, leave a like beachy emoji in the comments below, and as always, comment, rate, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell to be notified when all my videos go live. I'll see you in the next one.